Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin today's off-season show, we ask that you please join us in a moment of silence in remembrance of Evan Lacey, whose memory we honor today. Thank you.
We welcome you in to the first ever AFA Expansion Draft and Award Show. I am your host, Cameron Duty, and it is a pleasure to be here, of course, as we get excited for what's to come in Season 2 of the American Football Association. Let's jump right into it with a quick recap of everything that's happened. The big news, the Giants are leaving the Big Apple and heading to the home of Skyline Chili, moving to Cincinnati to become the Bengals with those black and orange stripes. And we expect a lot of fun out of that unit. As we said, the Giants relocate to Cincinnati. The first big update of the postseason. Settle in, get comfortable. The award show starts now, ladies and gentlemen. As of course you know, the Season 1 Conference champions goes as followed. In the East, the conference champions were the New England Patriots, who, with quarterback Keenan McAllister and a great squad, took their championship hopes all the way to the AFA Championship Season 1 game, where they met the West Conference champions, the Oakland Raiders. Of course, led by Brady White, Ashton Tangenti, and many, many others on that squad, Dillian Voss. And of course, the Season 1 champion at the end of it all was the Oakland Raiders, who take home the very first ever Evan Lacy trophy. And for the AFA Championship game MVP, it was none other than the Oakland Raiders' very own Dillian Voss, with an incredible game that certainly put the entire league on notice, as he did the entire season, as he comes up with the Season 1 Championship game MVP. We'll take a look at those highlights quickly of that championship game, which we were fortunate enough to be a part of, down in the Big Easy in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Superdome. And there is Voss, of course, putting on a show with that slant over the middle, and then over top three Patriot defenders. Brady White supplying the rock. Look at this again over top of Ty Law, for instance. Takes me right back to that game and that incredible individual effort by Dillian Voss that secured the victory and secured himself the championship MVP. Number 85, the team owner of the year. As we take a look, as we transition, the team owner of the year will go to Lucid of the Oakland Raiders. So congratulations. As you see, putting a lot of work together, getting Brady White to come over and be a part of that team. As we know, we've already mentioned Dillian Voss, Tangenti. AFA Breakout Player of the Year goes to a guy who didn't start the season with us, a little foreshadowing there, but he came on strong after about week 3, and that was Keenan McAllister, who, once he joined this Patriots squad, it just changed things, to be honest with you. His first breakout performance actually was in the Thanksgiving Day Gravy Bowl, if you might remember us playing in the All-Star event there on the eve of Thanksgiving. McAllister then went on, of course, as his full-time duties as Patriots quarterback. And we know how that went, getting them all the way to the AFA Season 1 Championship as participant of the East Conference. The Offensive Player of the Year award. Well, that had a lot of people. There were a lot of names in this hat, if you will, that we could have certainly chosen from. But in the end, it was Matthew Rogers who ascended to wide receiver slot number 1 for the 49ers in what truly was an incredible year for Matthew. He has, like we said, propelled his way. He started on the draft order, I guess you would say wide receiver 2, really, with Jaquez getting a big bulk of the targets early on in the season. But from the highlights that you can see, that role did change as Rodgers found a way to get inside and wide open at times. The Defensive Player of the Year. Well, again, a lot of names we could have picked from. A lot of big defensive standouts this season. But the one who comes away with the win, it's Tyron Voss as our AFA Defensive Player of the Year. another Raiders standout who had his hand on 1 million deflected passes and interceptions, not to mention all the assists and tackles that he was a part of. Of course, the anchor of that defense for the Oakland Raiders, you'd have to agree. Staff Member of the Year. Our next award, as we again say, a lot of great people make up this American Football Association. So who's it going to be? Well, drum roll please. It is going to be none other than Matthew Rogers. That's right. Not only is he an MVP on the field, he's also an MVP in the staff. Thank you for all the work you do behind the scenes. And now for Season 1 MVP of the AFA. Like we said, who's it going to be? We've named a lot of names in this ballot up to this point, taking other awards. But who will be the most valuable player of Season 1? Well, it goes to the QB of the Oakland Raiders. It is Brady White, who, with a fantastic quarterback rating of consistency from week 1 all the way to the championship, coming over from San Jose, where he previously played, now making his home here in the AFA. And as you see right there, that's right, trading in that teal and aqua there for the black and silver. One thing remains the same. There is a championship trophy in hand. As we take a look at the expansion draft Season 2, we go to the draft class, and we will start to announce those players who will be picked up. The expansion draft rules goes as followed. Each team will protect 5 players. Expansion teams will select 1 player for 3 rounds, and the draft only involves players from Season 1 draft. So let's keep that in mind. You see the current rosters there, and the players that have been protected up to this point. With the Patriots, of course, in there is, of course, the aforementioned Raiders, the Bengals, and the 49ers. And with the expansion draft, that will allow players to be added to the Pittsburgh Steelers and Dallas Cowboys rosters. So who does each team protect? Well, let's find out. No need to delay. Let's jump right into the results. The Raiders protect Ashton Genty, Colin Richards, Brady White, Tater Tots, and Dillian Voss, leaving Isabella Maccabees and Tyron Voss to be on the exposed list, if you will, as they will be potentially available for pickup in this expansion draft. Voss, actually an AFA Defensive Player of the Year. The Patriots protect Cannon McAllister, the Big Stepper, Jebediah Butters, and Trayvon Austin, leaving nobody from their roster to go towards this expansion draft. The 49ers, Prince Wonder, quarterback and cornerback, wide receiver Matthew Rogers, halfback Yaki Soba, and tight end Jay Ballmer, leaving exposed the free safety Storm Duck. And then we'll look towards the Bengals. Protected, quarterback Eric Alexander, wide receiver Sad Neighbors, linebackers Brody White and the Joker, free safety Cam Sadscat, leaving exposed tight end Ace Millie, the defensive ends Marcus Kane, and cornerback Billy Millie. All 3 available for the expansion draft. So the exposed player pool, we've got Isabella Maccabees, Ace Millie, Marcus Kane, Billy Millie, Tyron Voss, and Storm Duck. So who will find a new home? That is the next order on the agenda. As round 1, the Steelers will pick first, the Cowboys will pick second. That will remain the same for all 3 rounds. The Steelers on the clock for their first pick, as we take a look at the exposed players there for them to pick from. With that sound, the first pick
With
is
the
in.
first pick, the Steelers select
Steelers.
Tyron Voss, cornerback.
And there you have it. From the commissioner himself, Tyron Voss, pick number 1, round 1. That very, very, very important defensive player for the Oakland Raiders, gets the first pick. He's going to Pittsburgh, to the Steel City, where he will help certainly strengthen that Steel defense. Gonna be exciting.
With the second pick, the Cowboys select Storm Duck, free safety.
Storm Duck coming over from San Francisco as a free safety, adding him to the first class of the Doomsday defense here in the AFA for the Dallas Cowboys in their traditional blue and silver. Not only do they want to look good, they want to play good. Here
With
we are
the
for the
third pick, the Steelers select Marcus Kane, defensive end.
Yep, defensive end Marcus Kane, who, of course, going to add some extra oomph to that defensive line to certainly put some pressure on the quarterback for Pittsburgh. So interesting seeing these two legendary organizations in this
With
draft.
the fourth pick, the Cowboys select Billy Millie, cornerback.
Billy Millie, again, as you see, an emphasis on strengthening the defense across the board for both of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. That leaves us with one final round of this expansion draft.
With the fifth pick, the Steelers select Ace Millie, tight end.
Ace Millie, whose previous home was the Big Apple in New York, now will be going to Pittsburgh as part, and really, truly, that is the first pick of their offensive onslaught in this draft show
With the
tonight.
sixth and
So Ace
final
Millie,
pick, the
tight
Cowboys
end.
select Isabella Maccabees, running back.
So the Cowboys have their first halfback in Isabella Maccabees. There's a lot of great halfbacks that's come out of Texas, and we'll see if Isabella has a chance to certainly make a stamp of her own in the Lone Star State. And there you have it, 3 rounds of the AFA expansion draft, and here you go. Up to this point, here are the rosters prior to the Season 2 draft, which is coming up in just a matter of minutes. But right now, your quarterbacks, and all across the board, you see Prince Wonder for the 49ers, Eric Alexander for the Bengals, McAllister for the Patriots, Brady White for the Raiders. Quarterbacks established and engaged. You see the Cowboys, the Steelers, not only do they have to work on quarterbacks, they got to work on other huge, very important personnel, wide receiving units, the offense and defense. Of course, both of these have to be built for the Cowboys and Steelers. And with that being said, these existing teams as well, the 49ers, the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Raiders, all looking to get their hands on some of these new prospects as well as the ones that are available to come here as the AFA expansion draft is now complete. New teams added, players have been selected, rosters are being set. But would it be an American Football Association show if we didn't have just one more announcement to get to? We've got one coming up for you that is going to be maybe a little bit of excitement, some breaking news, I guess, to some of you who have been watching and waiting. That's right, here we go. Well, we wouldn't be without a surprise in our back pocket. That's right, another team will be relocating, ladies and gentlemen, and it is the San Francisco 49ers. Where are they going to pack their bags and go to? That's right. Going to the home with the big arch, the St. Louis Rams. Trading in the gold and red for the gold and blue. That means for AFA Season 2, you'll have the Patriots, the Steelers, the Rams, Bengals, Cowboys, and Raiders. The 6 teams that will make up the American Football Association for Season 2. And I think we're off to a very, very good start.
Are you ready? Hey, think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. You think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to? Well, you better get used to the way the ball bounces. I see what you got, it measures in ounces. But that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. Think you're a big man? Treat you like you're a little man. Yeah. Break it down. Yo, tell me what it's like to be half a man. It must break your heart to see what I am, but that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. Think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to? Just stop wanting me to be someone else. Put it away like a book on a shelf that you can't read, boy. Yeah, that you can't read, little man.
Are you tired of always walking on eggshells with your opinions in other sports sim leagues? So were we. Are you tired of being on the verge and or being banned because you don't think the way most sim leagues want you to think? Join us. We got tired of being punished or banned because someone got offended. So we created the AFA No Flags, Just Football. We are starting our second season soon and are looking for new members. We have live broadcasters and everything is free. It is growing daily with a lot of activity and members. Come check us out if you dare.
Take a look at the draft information and rules coming at you. Of course, we have to let you know the rules, right? That's part of the fun, is knowing how this works. Due to the inclusion of the two new expansion teams, the standard reverse standing draft order will not apply for this season. For the inaugural draft, all 6 teams will participate in a full random draw to determine the entire draft order. 5 minutes per selection. Teams are allotted 5 minutes to make each selection during their draft, and should a team not submit its choice before time expires, the next team immediately goes on the clock. The delayed team retains its right after the pick loss. So that's a big thing. Should a team not submit You see that there. 8 draft rounds, but only 7 full draft rounds. 8 rounds equals 2 picks awarded to the expansion teams. So let's find out the draft order now. The draft order was determined behind the scenes using a random wheel of names drawn. Think of Wheel of Fortune, if you will. The wheel just spinning around with everybody's names drawn. And here's the results. The draft order. The Raiders will go first, the Cowboys second, the Patriots third, the Bengals fourth, the Steelers fifth, and then the Rams, the last in the draft order. Let's get started. The AFA Season 2 draft starts now. Going first, the Oakland Raiders, as we mentioned. Who will be their first pick in the Season 2 AFA draft? As the Raiders are on the clock, we'll wait for that very familiar chime, and then we will get the announcement from headquarters on who the Raiders will select. Of course, coming off of that Super Bowl or the AFA Championship, going down in the history books. Let's see who we've got.
With the first pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Raiders select DeMarcus Demolition, outside linebacker.
And there you have it, DeMarcus Demolition. Well, he intimidated teams all across the AFA. Their outside linebacker is coming back home to Oakland as they have chosen to bring back DeMarcus Demolition. Congratulations. The pick is in for the Cowboys. Who will they take as their first draft pick here?
With the second pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Cowboys select Willie Beeman, quarterback.
So the Cowboys take a quarterback. They choose a field general to start their draft. This new expansion team here under the new direction. Starting off with a quarterback. Congratulations to Mr. Beeman and the Cowboys. Patriots on the clock now. They come up just one victory short of the first ever AFA championship. How will they look to improve upon their Season 2? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do they have that they want to try to get a one-up on for Season 2? As we wait for that all-familiar chime to let us know that the pick is in. And there we go.
With the third pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Patriots select Quinchester Baggins, tight end.
And Quinchester Baggins, the tight end, adding some meat there to not only the offensive line as a great blocker, but also as a very talented tight end, of course, a great receiver. And here come the Bengals, of course, moved over from New York, coming to Ohio here to be part of the city of Cincinnati. Who will they pick as their first selection in the AFA draft? As the Giants, of course, this team had a lot of growing pains, but they continued to mature as the season went on, playing some of their best football at the end of the season in that opening round of the 4-team playoffs that they had. They really gave the Raiders a run for their money before falling just short, and certainly a great effort of improvement from where they began at in the season. So a lot of excitement on the horizon in Cincinnati now as they look towards the future. And we wait for their pick from their team, their owner, their general manager there. Let's see what we have, folks.
With the fourth pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Bengals select Thaddeus Bubberig, fullback.
That's right. The Bubba Rig is coming to Cincinnati. Thaddeus Bubba Rig, who spent his first season in New England, will be coming over to Sin City, if you will. That is in CIN City, if you will. So congratulations to Bubba Rig on his new home. The Steelers are on the clock. That other expansion team for season 2. Of course, we've seen the Cowboys take Willie Beeman early on. The Steelers, will they pick a offensive player? Will they look for a quarterback? Will they look for a halfback, wide receiver? That's kind of been the trend so far in this draft, as we up to this point have had 3 offensive players taken. DeMarcus Demolition, the only defensive player taken so far in round 1. What will Pittsburgh decide as their opening pick? Who's going to get to hold up the jersey as selected for the Pittsburgh Steelers? For all you Steelers fans out there, of course, this is a moment of excitement for you, no doubt, with the building of your team. We mentioned the expansion draft for the Steelers. The pick is in.
With the 5th pick in the season 2 American Football Association draft, the Steelers select Carson Steele, quarterback.
So the Steelers do take an offensive player. They take quarterback Carson Steele as their field general. So a 4th offensive player taken in round 1. That leaves the Rams now on the clock. We mentioned we started this program as they were labeled the 49ers. We've transitioned with their new relocation. After that exciting announcement, we know that they will be the St. Louis Rams on the clock for season 2. What will they do? They had a pretty good season 2. They really almost had the big upset in the AFA as they took the New England Patriots right down to the wire in their playoff matchup of that 4-team playoff bracket that we had to determine the 2 participants in the first ever championship game. The Patriots able to escape with the victory, but the 49ers, they certainly put everybody on notice during that game. So where do they feel like they need to improve? I think that you could certainly look at a couple of areas that we've talked about the defense, how a couple of times their defense, as a matter of fact, kept them in the game until their offense kind of caught up to them. And, you know, a lot could be said for strengthening the defense with some great players out there. Of course, great players in this entire pool. If they want to look more towards the offense, we know they've got an established halfback. They've got Matthew Rogers at wideout. So where will the Rams go? It's going to take a while to get used to saying that. Where will the Rams choose to put their next player in this draft as we wait for the pick? As you can tell, they're certainly deliberating there, waiting to, mulling it over, I can only imagine. Here's the pick. Let's see who they've chosen.
With the 6th pick in the season 2 American Football Association, the Rams select Doc McStuffins, defensive tackle.
So Doc McStuffins, as he will be coming to St. Louis to play with the St. Louis Rams, beefing up that defense. Here is round 1. The Raiders outside linebacker DeMarcus Demolition. The Cowboys have chose quarterback Willie Beeman. The Patriots tight end Quinchester Baggins. The Bengals fullback Thaddeus Bubba Riggs. Steelers quarterback Carson Steele. And the Rams take defensive tackle Doc McStuffins as the Raiders are on the clock for round 2. The first round, they took a defensive player in DeMarcus Demolition. So we'll see if they continue to go that route or if they'll come back to the offensive side of the ball. see what kind of weapons that they can truly find to help a team that, as you know, it was hard to find some flaws in this Oakland Raiders team for season one. They certainly were stacked. We mentioned players such as Dillian Voss, and what a great season that he had. We awarded him, those MVP honors of the championship game. And of course, the season MVP went to Brady White, also from Oakland. So knowing those things, knowing that they have an offense that is pretty well dangerous, it's hard to imagine that anybody else won't propel them to even higher echelon status. Here's the pick.
With the 7th pick in the American Football Association draft, the Raiders select Cush Marley, wide receiver.
And there you have it. Marley Cush comes over to join the Oakland Raiders to give Brady White another player to try his hand at tossing the football around to. No doubt that's, as we said, anybody that the Raiders takes that they can get on this offensive side, going to be dangerous. Here come the Dallas Cowboys on the clock for their second pick of this draft. As a recap, the very first pick of the Cowboys was for quarterback Willie Beeman. Now, that will, and as a matter of fact, we can recap the Cowboys team to this point with that expansion draft, as they took Storm Duck and Billy Millie and halfback Isabella Maccabees in the expansion draft. Let's go to the pick.
With the 8th pick in the American Football Association draft, the Cowboys select Trey Ingram, outside linebacker.
Trey Ingram, the linebacker who certainly made a lot of big plays in season one, going to go over to Dallas and help strengthen that defensive unit to help build the doomsday defense for the American Football Association. And I think that's going to be exciting too, as you see the Cowboys with an emphasis now on trying to build their defensive side of the football. You cannot win a championship without a good defense. Yes, the offense has to be high-flying and vicious, but you also have to have a defense that can stop teams from moving the ball as well. And the Cowboys picking up players such as Trey Ingram looking to do that very same thing. Patriots now on the clock. Let's see who they have coming up. Here is the pick from the commissioner.
With the 9th pick in the American Football Association draft, the Patriots select Colorado Kool-Aid, wide receiver.
Colorado Kool-Aid. I believe if it's the Kool-Aid man, I think the words would be, oh yeah, he's smashing through that brick wall, making his way to New England, to the Boston area, coming over to play for the Patriots. And quarterback Cannon McAllister, amongst others, another target for him to throw to. Of course, that's going to be a lot of fun. So more success to hopefully to come for New England as the Bengals now are on the clock. Again, just to remind everybody, keep everybody on base, the Bengals in round one picked Thaddeus Bubba-Rig, the fullback, as they look to beefing up their offensive unit. Here's pick 2
with the 10th
for the
pick
Bengals.
In the American Football Association draft, the Bengals select Santiago Jacques, wide receiver.
Santiago Jock, or as I would like to say, Santiago Jacquez. I think that become kind of a thing with us in the broadcast booth. Santiago is coming over to the Sin City as a target for quarterback Eric Alexander to throw to. That very popular wideout from San Francisco now will make his home in Ohio. The Steelers are now on the clock as they have the next to last pick in round 2. We'll see where they decide to go. In round 1, they picked quarterback Carson Steele. And their picks in the expansion draft were Tyron Voss, which was a big pickup, Marcus Kane, and Ace Millie. Here's the pick.
With the 11th pick in the American Football Association draft, The Steelers select Cam Chancellor, strong safety.
The Steel City defense getting another addition with the strong safety Cam Chancellor, number 31, who's going to be coming to Pittsburgh. As we said, it's going to be exciting. The Cowboys with the Doomsday defense, the Steelers with that steel curtain. Going to be two defenses. We'll see if that lives up to the moniker, right? That's the big thing when you think of these two teams. We'll see what kind of name they make for themselves in the AFA. The Rams are now on the clock as we take a look at their first round draft results. They took a defensive tackle in Doc McStuffins. The question now comes, what side of the ball do they want to look at? We talked about the defensive tackle of McStuffins and just how aggressive that he is on the line. And we've seen him, take a lot of pressure off of his defense simply by getting into the backfield and making plays for them. Let's look at round 2 for the 49ers pick. For the Rams, I'm sorry.
With the 12th pick in the American Football Association draft, the Rams select Kevin Lerkland, outside linebacker.
So Kevin Lerkland, the linebacker for the St. Louis Rams, now going to join Doc McStuffins. 2 defensive picks for the Rams to start this draft. So round 1, you see on the screen, now joined by round 2 with the Raiders once more on the clock. There's a quick rundown of where we're at and where we are going. As we said, some teams taking an emphasis on defense, such as the Rams. And again, I apologize. You will find me possibly saying 49ers a couple more times in this draft as we go along, but hopefully not. I'll try to nip that in the bud. The Rams, of course, now the new moniker for the 49ers, as the Raiders are on the clock for round 3 of this draft. To recap, their first 2 picks, linebacker DeMarcus Demolition and wide receiver Cush Marley. As we get set for their pick for round 3. A lot of good players still out there, folks, and I think that all of you watching whose name is certainly in the pool, congratulations to all of you who have been selected. And for those of you that are still waiting on your name to be called, I think as, head broadcaster of the AFA, I think I can safely say that knowing what I know about this league and the teams that have been assembled, everybody's going to go to a really good home. And so a lot of excitement from everything working behind the scenes here. And just 6 great organizations to pick from. Here's the pick for the Raiders, defending champions.
With the 13th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Raiders pick Jackson Oakley, guard.
So Jackson Oakley, the guard for the Raiders. Going to add some protection.
Hi,
for
Billy Mays
Brady
here.
White.
And if you love beer, you're going to love Kevin Beers. Beer with Kevin Beers beer. The good times double. It's crisp. It's bold. It's the only beer that brings its own party wherever you are. Kevin Beers beer, so good. You'll order beers twice. Are you ready to take steps and count them? Introducing a pedometer, the Big Stepper. That's right. It counts 1 step at a time, whether you're strolling, wandering, or pacing during a close game. The Big Stepper keeps track so you don't have to. The government's best friend. It's a pedometer, we think, but we're very excited about it. Now back to the draft.
Of course, that's some fantastic advertisement commercial work there done at AFA Production Studios in parts unknown. But a great job to the entire production team there, led by Brady White, of course. As we wait on the Cowboys pick, we'll take a look at their first 2 picks of the day in this draft. They picked Willie Beeman at quarterback and Trey Ingram at outside linebacker. So for round 3, Pick 2, the 14th overall. We await to see in what direction the Dallas Cowboys will choose to go. It's always interesting, a team like there's a big question mark right now. Not seeing the Cowboys on the field up to this point. I guess I should actually correct that. We did see them on the field as part of the Thanksgiving Day Classic that we had. I mentioned that a little earlier in the broadcast, but it was super cool seeing the blue and silver out there for that All-Star game. Neat to have them along. Here is the pick.
With the 14th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association Draft, the Cowboys select Kevin Beers, defensive tackle.
Kevin Beers, we talked about his fantastic beverage that is on sale everywhere. Beers beer. He's bringing that over to the Lone Star State as he will be part of their defensive line as he joins outside linebacker Trey Ingram in Dallas. The Patriots now are on the clock. In their first selection of the day, they took the tight end Quinchester Baggins, who doesn't have very far to go. And for the Patriots wide receiver, of course, they took Colorado Kool-Aid. Here's the pick for New England.
With the 15th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association Draft, the Patriots select James White, running back.
James White, the halfback for the Patriots. We'll get to call New England his home in Season 2. A very shifty halfback. Got a lot of good moves in the arsenal there. And so he certainly has a great opportunity up ahead to show his stuff as he will join his offensive talent in New England. New England is a town that or Boston in general is a town that is very familiar with championships. And like we said, come up just, one game short of securing a championship in the AFA. You can tell that their attention is being made to try to get back to that same position, but this time take the Evan Lacey Trophy. As we transition once again back to Cincinnati and Bengals headquarters, who will they take in this third round for the fourth pick, 16th overall? Here's the result.
With the 16th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association Draft, the Bengals select Armani Lassiter, strong safety.
Armani Lassiter, who certainly had his name called a ton in Season 1. I can attest to that as me being in the broadcast booth. A guy who had a lot of interceptions and a lot of pass deflections and breakups. Him from that strong safety position. A very crucial part, of course, in the defense is a strong safety side. He's the first to be picked in this draft. Here's the Steelers quickly back.
With the 17th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association Draft, the Steelers select Jeremiah James, running back.
So the Steelers now have their halfback. As we said, the Steelers, part of that expansion, they have their quarterback in there is Carson Steele, and now the halfback to be in the backfield with him. Congratulations to Jeremiah James. And the Rams in with their selection quickly.
With the 18th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association Draft, the Rams select Slappy Clappy, defensive end.
Slappy Clappy, with one of the coolest names that you could ever think of, is going to once again be on the defensive line. You can tell the Rams making an effort. Look at their picks. Round 1, Doc McStuffins tackle. Defensive tackle, might I add. Kevin Lurkland, middle linebacker in the second round. And now in the third round, it's Slappy Clappy on the defensive end side. So that tells you what emphasis the Rams, now the Rams, formerly the 49ers, have that they're looking towards for season 2. Stack that defensive side of the ball. That concludes 3 rounds of the American Football Association Season 2 draft as the Raiders back up to start round 4. To recap their picks, they picked DeMarcus Demolition at outside linebacker, Cush Marley at wide receiver, Jackson Oakley at guard. So 1 defensive man, 2 offensive players. We'll see what they've got for round 4.
With the 19th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Raiders select Van Lacey, free safety.
Van Lacey, someone who we expect to hear a lot out of in Season 2, will be making his way to Oakland to play for the Black and Silver as they once more take an emphasis on defense. That's been the name of the game for a lot of these teams up to this point. The Cowboys now on the clock. To recap, they took quarterback Willie Beeman, outside linebacker Trey Ingram, and defensive tackle Kevin Beers. And here's the pick.
With the 20th pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Cowboys select Esteban Jacques, strong safety.
Esteban Jacques coming over to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys.
If your tailgate looks normal, well, you're doing it wrong. Introducing the Bubba Rig Tailgate Pack, a system-engineered tailgate pack that was created and certified by the American Football Association's greatest minds. You get the duct tape cup holder tree, the truck bed recliner conversion, the grill suspension system, and the extension cord spider web. Power everything. So stop tailgating like an amateur and start tailgating like a legend with the Bubba Rig Tailgate Pack. Hi, Billy Mays here. Have you ever felt destined for royalty? Well, I did. And now I'm officially certified. Introducing the Prince Wonder Royalty Certificate. For a small, completely reasonable processing fee of $10,000, you too can become an officially recognized prince or king, Nigerian Prince Certified. A legal document certified by real Nigerian princes. Now people have to call me Your Highness. It's legally, probably binding.
All right, the Patriots now on the clock. Of course, thanks again for that quick commercial break. Great products, of course, to look at and get a chuckle out of. Gotta love the humor that we have here at the AFA as well. We love the involvement of our players in those spots as well. We appreciate them for participating. The Patriots are on the clock for the fourth round, pick 3. That is the 21st overall. As they've picked up Quinchester Baggins, Colorado Kool-Aid, and James White up to this point.
With the 21st pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Patriots select DJ Kilgannon, strong safety.
DJ Kilgannon coming over from Oakland to be a part of the New England Patriots as his spot will be strong safety over there in New England, a place that ironically DJ's talked a lot about, Boston, if you all remember from the broadcast. So he will make that his home now. The Bengals are on the clock now as they will have their selection coming for this 4th pick in the 4th round, 22nd overall. Previously, they have picked Thaddeus Bubba wide receiver Santiago Jaquez, strong safety Armani Lassiter.
With the 22nd pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Bengals select Arnold Simpson, running back.
So Cincinnati has found their halfback. Somebody back there to join Thaddeus Bubba as Bubba will be blocking now for Arnold Simpson. Congratulations to Arnold, as he will be part of this Bengal squad. The Steelers, once more on the clock. They have picked Carson Steele at quarterback, Cam Chancellor at strong safety, Jeremiah James at halfback. And what will that leave? Now the question mark is, what side of the football will the Steelers choose to look at, as they, up to this point, have went with 2 offensive players and 1 defensive player in the AFA draft. And as we await, let me tell you, contracts are in effect for Season 1 and Season 2 athletes. For more information on that, please check your announcements in the AFA Discord server. Once again, contracts are in effect for Season 1 and Season 2 athletes here in the American Football Association. I know a lot of people of you are very out there, very, very excited. A lot of people wanting to see that black and gold on the field for them. It can't come soon enough. Of course, we will get the announcement from our commissioner, our very special commissioner, Mr. Brady White, who, again, let's give him a great round of applause for everything that he has done. In ensuring not only this draft, but the success of the AFA. With this second season, so much excitement around it. I think it's only appropriate, considering just how well Season 1 came and went. And so now, with a great footing, a great establishment underneath us, it's time to go onward and upward in the AFA, and we know we've got the right people in charge of that, as the Steelers continue to ponder it over here. They've got 2 minutes and 33 seconds. I believe this is the longest that we have actually seen anybody take today on the clock. Makes you wonder. There's a lot of discussions going on behind the scenes, no doubt, in trying to determine their next pick. And here we go, right at 2 minutes, the pick is in.
With the 23rd overall pick in the Season 2 draft of the American Football Association, the Steelers select Chris Collinsworth, wide receiver.
Now, here's a guy who is going to Pittsburgh. It's wide receiver Chris Collinsworth, as he will make his new home in the Steel City. Congratulations to Chris Collinsworth for finding his new position in Pennsylvania. The final pick of round 4 goes once more to the St. Louis Rams, as they are on the clock. To recap, the Rams took defensive tackle Doc McStuffins in the first round, middle linebacker Kevin Lurkland in the second, and defensive end Slappy Clappy in the third.
With the 24th overall pick in the Season 2 draft of the American Football Association, the Rams select A.C. Jackson, cornerback. If you experience lingering dissatisfaction after your morning meal, you may be living with post-breakfast dissatisfaction syndrome. Then it might be time to ask your doctor about Doc McStuffin muffins, clinically baked to help you feel better faster. With a balanced crumb profile and clinically satisfying texture, Doc McStuffin muffin helps you move forward with your day. The only prescription strength pastry designed to treat hunger at the source. Side effects may include headache, nausea, dizziness, dry mouth, upset stomach, fatigue, drowsiness, insomnia, mild rash, itching, sweating, chills, flushing, heartburn, indigestion, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, stomach pain, back pain, muscle aches, joint pain, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, nervousness, confusion, difficulty concentrating, vivid dreams, decreased coordination, ringing in the ears, blurred vision, sensitivity to light, runny nose, cough, sore throat, changes in taste, increased appetite, decreased appetite, and in some cases, a sudden urge to purchase additional muffins.
Thank you, Billy May, as the Raiders are back on the clock as we start the fifth round, our first pick. Hope you guys are enjoying the show just as much as I am. Here, the pick is in.
With the 25th overall pick in the Season 2 American Football Association draft, the Raiders select O.J. Peppers, defensive end.
So defensive side of the Raiders football going to get a little spice in the way of O.J. Peppers as he joins free safety Van Lacey over there. And linebacker DeMarcus Demolition, all picked in this draft up to this point. The Cowboys once again on the clock. The second pick here in the fifth round as we are certainly moving along nicely through this Season 2 AFA draft. To recap for the Cowboys, they have had Willie Beeman picked. That's quarterback Willie Beeman, linebacker Trey Ingram, defensive tackle Kevin Beers, and strong safety Esteban Jaquez. Let's see what pick 2 in the fifth round has in store for Big D.
With the 26th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Christopher Randall, defensive end.
Congratulations there to Christopher Randall.
Hi, Billy Mays here.
Cowboys.
Ever wish you could feel like an American Football Association champion without getting tackled by a 300-pound defensive tackle? And are you tired of underwear that can't keep up with game day pressure? Well, now you can. Introducing Brady White's Tidy Whities, the only underwear bold enough to celebrate after every trip to the fridge like it's a championship parade. You don't have to throw touchdowns. You don't have to lift trophies. Heck, you don't even have to leave the couch. Wear them to game night. Wear them while yelling at the television. Wear them while doing absolutely nothing. Because doing nothing has never felt so heroic. So if you're ready to live life like you just won the championship, just like Brady White, don't wait. Grab Brady White's Tidy Whities because winning isn't earned. It's worn.
And as you notice, it says, as seen on TV, as seen right here on the American Football Association, of course. As we make our way through this fifth round and the third pick, the Patriots, of course, as we said, on the clock. To recap for them, they've featured Quinchester Baggins, Kool-Aid, James White, and DJ Kilgannon up to this point.
With the 27th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Patriots select Joey Cronin, free safety.
Congratulations to Joey Cronin as he will be part of this Patriots squad, the free safety there, as he will join his defensive mates, DJ Kilgannon and Quickly, we got the Bengals wasting no time. They're on the pick. It is in.
With the 28th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Bengals select John Johnson, defensive tackle.
Congratulations to defensive tackle John Johnson, a new name around the AFA parts, perhaps to some of you, but getting a lot of great looks heading here into this draft, and the Bengals have made their choice. To recap for the Bengals, that was Thaddeus Bubba Rigg, Santiago Jaquez, Armani Lassiter, and Arnold Simpson, the players that the Bengals have picked up here in this draft. Now we move on to the Bengals' rivals, those Pittsburgh Steelers, and their pick is in.
With the 29th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Steelers select William Simpson, cornerback.
William Simpson, who had a really good season last year, as I said, being in the booth, I'm used to a lot of these names, and he is somebody who made some really good plays on defense all season long. The Steelers are going to be very happy with that acquisition, as he is picked in the 5th pick of the 5th round. Now we move on to the 6th pick here, 30th overall. It goes once more to the Rams, who up to this point, I find this so interesting, up to this point, they have not taken anybody yet on offense. We'll see if they do so this time around. To recap, they've taken defensive tackle Dr. Stuffins, Kevin Lurkland, Slappy Clappy, and A.C. Jackson, all defense.
With the 30th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Rams select Brandon Robinson, linebacker.
So staying with the defensive theme of the night, the Rams have taken Brandon Robinson. That is 5 defensive players in the draft. A very clear and concise message being sent to the AFA that the Rams are ready to build and improve upon their defense, and they're going to have a lot of players to choose from. Sounding dangerous, as a matter of fact, as we go through this draft. The Raiders back up 6th round. We start the first pick, the 31st pick overall. Here's the selection for Raiders.
With the 31st overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Raiders select Brian Kowalski, wide receiver.
Kowalski, a new name to this Raiders squad, but welcome aboard. They're going to love having him to throw to. Let's recap the Raiders so far. They've picked DeMarcus Demolition, Cush Marley, Jackson Oakley, Van Lacey, and O.J. Peppers, and now add Brian Kowalski to that addition. We move on back around we go here to Dallas, who up to this point, they have been also defensive heavy. After taking their quarterback Willie Beeman in the 1st round, they have now chose 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive players, as that is clearly where their emphasis is. Here is the pick.
With a 32nd overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Cowboys select Evan Lacey, running back.
Congratulations to Evan Lacey. They have found their halfback to join in the backfield, quarterback Willie Beeman. Evan Lacey will suit up for the Dallas Cowboys in Season 2 of the American Football Association as he joins Beeman, Trey Ingram, Kevin Beers, Esteban Jaquez, and Christopher Randall from today's selection, as well as the 2 expansion players that they picked up in the expansion draft, Storm Duck and Billy Millie. Here's the pick for the Patriots.
With the 33rd overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Patriots select Chad Patnoud, wide receiver.
Chad Patnoud, number 10, coming over to New England, a wide receiver, as he will join his his teammate Colorado Kool-Aid, the tight end Quinchester Baggins, offensive players who have been selected to this point in the draft for the Patriots. As we grow longly now here into this night, deep into the draft, the 6th round, 34th pick overall, the Bengals are back around. We'll see who they choose to go after. Looking at their results so far, it's been a mix of offense and defense. Primarily offense for the Bengals today. We'll go over that lineup in just a minute. The pick is in once more.
With the 34th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Bengals select Emmett Ellis, wide receiver.
So Emmett Ellis comes back home as he was one of the leading wideouts of the New York Giants. The Bengals choose to pick him back up as another top wideout, as he will join Santiago Jaquez in Cincinnati. The Bengals have picked 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive players, or 4 offensive players, to 2 defensive. Here's Pittsburgh. They're on the clock.
With the 35th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Steelers select Mark Jackson, wide receiver.
Congratulations to Mark Jackson.
I've got a huge renovation, but I can't afford a demolition crew.
Then you need DeMarcus Demolition Spray. For just one payment of $19.99, you get the most powerful demolition solution on the market. No tools, no crew, no problem. Just spray, step back, and let DeMarcus Demolition Spray do the work. But wait, there is more. If you call in the next 20 minutes, we will cut the price in half. That is right. For $9.99, you can own this spray. But that is not all. We are going to double your order. 2 bottles of DeMarcus Demolition Spray for $9.99. Why hire a crew when you can bring the boom? DeMarcus Demolition Spray. When it's got to go, it's gone.
DeMarcus Demolition Spray looking to certainly obliterate the competition again in Season 2. Maybe that's how he does it. The Rams are on the clock. The 6th round, the 6th pick up to this point. It's been an all-defensive onslaught for them. They've picked nothing but defensive players. We'll see if they look to go towards their offense. Of course, you remember they retained a lot of offensive players, and they only had a couple go to the expansion draft. But up to this point, as we said, no offensive players to speak of for the Rams. Is this the time? Is this the pick? We'll find out.
With the 36th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Rams select Brody Pierre, kicker. Hi, Billy Mays here. Does rain always catch you off guard? Are you tired of your cell phone getting wet in storms? You need the Storm Duck Early Alert Rain System. This high-tech Weather Guardian detects rain before it even starts. That's right. With our patented pre-drizzle detection sensor, Storm Duck beeps the second the sky even thinks about raining, protecting your phone and your life. But here's where it gets quacktastic. If water levels rise, boom! Storm Duck instantly transforms into a fully inflatable duck float boat. Now you're not panicking. You're floating, perfect for flooded streets. And look at this, built-in cup holder, because emergencies shouldn't ruin your beverage. The Storm Duck Early Alert Rain System, when the storm hits. Don't panic. Just quack.
As we welcome you back into the first pick of the 7th round, let's notice that the Rams took their first kicker of the draft. It's Brody Pierre going to the Rams. We'll see. We do have some more kickers out there, as a matter of fact. So teams may be starting to dip into that pool. We'll see if that trend continues here into this round. The final full round of this AFA draft is round 8. Only consists of 2 teams to pick from. It'll be the Cowboys and the Steelers. So the Raiders on the clock, and here's the pick.
With the 37th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Raiders select Dan Dempsey, kicker.
And so, maybe following a trend here, Dan Dempsey, the second consecutive kicker. The Rams took the first kicker, and looks like maybe at least for the Raiders' sake, they will follow suit, picking up a special teams man. We did see just how important it was to have a kicker on the squads. And when I say that, I mean that, here in the AFA, if you don't have a position player, of course, you will be given a generic player, if you will, and that's not something good to have on special teams. We've seen that happen time and time again. You want a progressive athlete out there continuing to work and hone their craft in your skill positions, and of course everybody needing that kicker. That we've seen that actually hurt a lot of teams as this season went on, not having a reliable kicker to tack on those points when needed. So the Rams and the Raiders not going to have to worry about that this season. They've got two kickers now to use in their arsenal. What will the Cowboys choose? Of course, one of these expansion teams. 2 picks remaining for the Cowboys. We'll see how they decide to use it as they continue to debate and negotiate over their picks. They've got quarterback Willie Beeman, linebacker Trey Ingram, defensive tackle Kevin Beers, strong safety Esteban Jaquez, defensive end Christopher Randall, and running back Evan Lacey. Here's the pick.
With the 38th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Cowboys select Kobe Flowers, wide receiver.
So the Cowboys picking up another wide out, and it's Kobe Flowers who will be joining them. And when I say another, let me put it this way. That is their first wide receiver in the draft. I shouldn't say another off the draft board, but they're first. And here come the Patriots quickly back.
With the 39th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Patriots select Lee Keebum, kicker.
Lee Keebum going to the Patriots as their kicker. That is the 3rd kicker in 4 selections. So the Patriots will also have a good leg in the backfield for them. Cincinnati now on the clock. This for the Raiders and Patriots, Bengals and Rams. This is their final pick of this draft. So everyone else from this point, it's going to be either you've got the Steelers coming up and you've got the Rams coming up, and then the Steelers and the Cowboys to come in the next round. As we're making our way down to it, this is the 40th overall pick. And as we said, it's going to the city of Cincinnati. As we are just about finished with this draft, the squads almost completely set. Just a few pieces left to really assemble for these teams. And you got to wonder if the Bengals are going to follow suit with the special teams rash of players out there. We have 4 kickers in the pool this season, and we already have 3 of those taken. Here's the pick for Cincinnati.
With the 40th overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Bengals select Nick Jackson, kicker.
Congratulations to Nick Jackson. As the Steelers now
Hi,
find
Billy
themselves
Mays
on
here.
the clock.
And if your game nights
So
are a little too
kickers are
peaceful,
done.
I've got just the thing to fix that. It's Slappy Clappy, the fast action tabletop showdown inspired by the hardest hitting name in football. Just sit down, pick a clapper, and get ready, because once someone yells hike, all bets are off. You'll laugh, you'll compete, you might even question friendships, but you will not sit still. It's fast, it's loud, and it turns every living room into a highlight reel. So if you're ready for big reactions, big laughs, and bragging rights that last all week, grab Slappy Clappy today.
Again, all these products at a store near you. Here is the selection for the Steelers. Their next to last one of the draft.
With the 41st overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Steelers select Josh Robin, cornerback.
A new name here to the AFA, Josh Robin, getting ready to put his talents on display in the Steel City. As this is the 7th of 8 picks, as I mentioned, for the Steelers. They've got one more in round 8, as do the Cowboys. The final pick for the Rams, and up to this point, with the exception of their kicker, Brody Pierre, again, how fascinating is this? They have taken an entire all-defensive draft for St. Louis. New name, new defense, and new location to have these great players. We'll see what their final pick here in round 7 has in store. As we said, they've picked up Brandon Robinson at linebacker, A.C. Jackson at cornerback, Slappy Clappy at defensive end, Kevin Lurkland at middle linebacker, and Doc McStuffins at defensive tackle. Nobody else has taken so many players on that same side of the football. We've had a few. We've seen the Cowboys do quite a bit with their defense, as well as the Raiders, but not as much as the Rams. They came in with a purpose. They came in with a clear, concise idea of what they wanted to go after if given the opportunity, and some of the picks have certainly fell right into their favor as they beef up their defensive squad. 3:32 and counting here for the Rams on the clock, as we said. Their final pick, going to be exciting to see them. We talked about, how they almost had the big upset against New England in the championship, or the semifinals, to go to the championship. And we talked about maybe how some of the extra added parts maybe on defense could have made a difference. That's their goal here. Here is their selection, their final one.
With the 42nd overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Rams select Emperor Wonder, left tackle.
Joining the Wonder family, the Emperor will be coming over to play with quarterback Prince Wonder for the Rams. Congratulations to Emperor Wonder, and we have made it to the final round. Only 2 picks to go. A couple players left out there. We'll see where the chips will fall. The Cowboys are on the clock. Will they go offense or will they go defense? We'll find out. Not going to waste any time here.
With the 43rd overall pick in the Season 2 draft, the Cowboys select Jack Maddox, linebacker.
Linebacker Jack Maddox, going to be a great addition in Dallas as he joins his offensive friends, Kobe Flowers, Evan Lacey.
With the 44th overall pick and the last pick of the American Football Association Season 2 draft, the Steelers select Dick Dangles, tight end.
Dangle's a very, very good tight end who will now make his home in Pittsburgh, As we take a look at the draft results, congratulations to each and every one. As we look at the recaps here on the screen for you. A lot of great athletes. We've seen a lot of different decisions. Sometimes the teams went offensive heavy. Sometimes they went heavy on the defense. Sometimes they literally sprinkled it throughout. One thing is for sure, though, nobody went as hard as the Rams at defense. So congratulations to all of these teams for all the players that they picked up. A lot of people moving and playing in different teams with some new names, new rookies to be excited to see. We will go over each and every roster now, as we will read you off each and every player and where their homes will be, as we are just about set to conclude our broadcast today here on the AFA Network. Daniels actually fell farther than I had expected him to go higher. He's going to be a good addition to Pittsburgh, no doubt. Here's the Season 2 team rosters for the Rams. King Wonder, Yaki Soba, Matthew Rogers, Jay Ballmer, Emperor Wonder, Slappy Clappy, Doc McStuffins, Kevin Lurkland, Brandon Robinson, Prince Wonder, A.C. Jackson, and Brody Pierre. Bengals, Eric Alexander, Thaddeus Bubba Rigg, Arnold Simpson, Malik Sadneighbors, Santiago Jaquez, Emmett Ellis, John Johnson, Brody White of the Joker, Cam Sadscat, Armani Lassiter, and Nick Jackson. The Cowboys, Willie Beeman, Evan Lacey, Isabella Maccabees, Kobe Flowers, Christopher Randall, Kevin Beers, Jack Maddox, Trey Ingram, Billy Millie, Storm Duck, and Esteban Jaquez. Patriots, Cannon McAllister, The Big Stepper, James White, Jebediah Butters, Kool-Aid, Chad Pottenaude, Winchester Baggins, Trayvon Austin, DJ Kilgannon, Joey Cronin, and Lee Kibben. The Raiders, Brady White, Ashton Genty, Dillian Voss, Cush Marley, Brian Kowalsk, Jackson Oakley, O.J. Peppers, Colin Richards, DeMarcus Demolition, Tater Tots, Van Lacey, and Dan Dempsey. Carson Steele for the Steelers, Jeremiah James, Chris Collinsworth, Mark Jackson, Ace Milley, Dick Dangles, Marcus Kane, Tyron Voss, William Simpson, Josh Robin, Cam Chancellor, and Dan Dempsey. A new season, a new beginning. The AFA Season 2 coming at you soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the AFA Network. Have a good night, everybody, and congratulations to all.